It's your boy. Well, actually, I'd like to think that to you guys, I'm your boy, but it's presumably to many of you, your other boy, in a very soccer shirt. Hasan posted, belligerent madman sitting on the throne of a dying empire, lashing out in every direction, pulling the rest of the world in chaos and destruction. Yes, that is fair. I agree with that. Tough to argue with, right? All right, so what does this say?
Democrats, if they were in charge right now, would be doing 100% the exact same thing, 1-to-1. Make no mistake. Anyone who tries to tell you that Kamala Harris will be different is a delusional moron. Do not.
This is an older clip. I think this is in response to something happening in Gaza. It's some event in Gaza, presumably. He responded, "This is about Israel and after the election. Number 2, I'm right. Number 3, Harris postured in favor of more military intervention. This is why Trump was able to lie about being a peaceful dove. 4, your inability to admit Dem campaign mistakes is why fascists keep winning. 5, lock in." He's right. He is right. He's correct. I'm defending him on this. I'm locking in on this. Because I keep seeing this getting brought up by like liberals or whatever, but this is like a key element of strategic decision-making that Democrats fail on over and over and over and over and over again, right? The thing is, regardless of whether or not Donald Trump actually is the peace candidate, he's obviously not, right? He postured as one. It's popular to say no more war, no more intervention, blah, blah, blah. The problem was that when Harris was running, she said she was going to do everything like Biden did, and Biden had very publicly spent the past 2 years defending Israel as it waged war and conducted genocide. It's really difficult to posture yourself. Like, listen, I know Trump is full of shit, but Trump was saying he was going to solve it on day one. He has the benefit of not being the incumbent there, right? If Trump was the incumbent, would he have solved it on day one? No, of course not. Everything would have played out the same. But that's the point. By not being in power, he had the ability to pretend he could make things better. Did he solve Ukraine and Russia on day one? Of course not. Did he solve the healthcare crisis on day one, the housing crisis, inflation, any of it? No, of course not. So the point here being, like, Kamala Harris campaigning with Liz Cheney or whatever, talking about making our military lethal. Kamala Harris did not do a very good job of kowtowing to the very popular, like populist sentiment of no more wars, no more military spending, blah, 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 right? And the crazy thing is, that sentiment is more popular with Democrats than it is with Republicans. If you go only by their statements, not by what they actually believe or what they're actually going to do, Trump did a better job appealing to the Democratic sentiment on this than Kamala Harris did, because Kamala Harris was unwilling to break with Biden, and Biden was very obviously in favor of what Israel was doing. So you like, part of this is just her being weighed down by the fact that she was, by her own will, associated with Biden to that extent. But a lot of it is also that, you know, she didn't really do a lot to even lie favorably in that direction. This is a strategic failure, you know? I don't understand how this is controversial to people. She's a woman, and she's a woman, honestly. It's very a typical liberal brain. We can't fail voters. Voters can only fail us. I don't think people understand how it makes Democrats look when they're unwilling to even attempt to gesture at broad sweeping changes. Look, most Americans, even Republicans, agree with the rhetoric that we don't want any more wars, no more boots on the ground foreign intervention. Now, are Republicans stupid, malleable, and easily distracted by jangling keys? Yes, obviously. Of course they are, right? We're not arguing that the Republicans are being honest here. We're just saying that this is politics. You should make an effort to at least appeal to people's sentiment here. You know, would Kamala Harris have yoinked Maduro? No, probably not. But here's a follow-up to that. Would Kamala Harris have changed anything with Venezuela? Like, did Biden? Did Obama? They were less aggressive to some extent. Obama, for example, took Cuba off of the state terrorist. It was the terrorist watch list, right? Like with designated state terror list. But didn't like substantially change anything. There certainly wasn't a big cultural shift. It was just a fiddly little back end, like, oh, we've turned a knob a little bit, you know? And it was just immediately undone. I guess what I'm saying is, like, the average voter doesn't really view the Democrats as being good on this, whereas the Republicans at least gesture at it. Well, in fairness, Biden did withdraw troops from Afghanistan, which Trump said he would do and didn't. Yeah, of course. And that is like and that's voters are stupid. Yeah. We ended our occupation of Afghanistan on Trump's timeline, following Trump's timeline, and Biden was politically punished for it. But can I advance to you, if I may, a counter argument to this? Why didn't Democrats lock the in and attack Republicans over this? Like, all Democrats really could do was say, we did the best we could. The same thing they do anytime they do something unpopular, right? That's the rhetoric every time. Why weren't they screaming at Republicans saying Republicans wanted to keep war forever? Like, wouldn't that be an easy, like, in Congress, like the Democrats could say, what, you just want us to stay there forever? $1 billion trillion? Shouldn't we be using that money back home? You know how many babies with heart outside the ribcage syndrome we could save if we took the money we were spending in Afghanistan and brought it back home, you pieces of shit? How many trillions do you want to throw out into the Middle East, huh? Like, why didn't they do that? They could have. They didn't. They could have, but they didn't. You know, this is what I mean, right? Look, if we're arguing that Democrats and Republicans are basically the same on Gaza, the answer is obviously like, yeah. In a practical sense, the difference between how Trump and Biden have handled Israel's genocide in Gaza has been pretty minimal, you know? It's even possible that Trump was able to, by virtue of being like a worse person overall and more aggressive on Iran, was able to leverage some force against Netanyahu that Biden was unwilling to do. I don't know for sure whether or not that's true. It's kind of hard to say, and we can't peer into alternate timelines, you know? But that's my guess. It's pretty similar across the board. And my guess is, by the way, that Democrats aren't really like that different on Maduro. Maybe Trump is the only one crazy enough to oust him, but like Democrats have been doing the same rhetoric against Maduro for a decade now. A bunch of Democrats have responded to Trump's illegal seizure of Maduro with this hemming and hawing, this like, well, we do agree that his rule is illegitimate and that he's a bad man, but you didn't brief Congress on it. Like a lot of the Dem leadership, is defending the regime change. So maybe Democrats wouldn't have done the regime change, but if they're defending it, then what's your argument? Democrats are different in that they believe the same thing, but they're weaker in implementation? Is that like the defense of the Democrats? You know what I mean? It is pretty pathetic. You see Harris' response? I think Harris's response was okay, wasn't it? Twitter, like Ken Martin's was okay. What does this take right now? It's global destabilization by its effects. Rhetoric isn't the same as Trump's erratic actions. Yeah, but the Democrats destabilized the globe as well with our behavior in Israel. We literally dealt like one of the biggest blows the international rules-based order has ever seen by publicly defending, aiding, and abetting Israel in spite of their constant violations of international law. Like, that's way worse than anything that's happened today in Venezuela. I guarantee you that global faith in the rules-based order and in American hegemony was shaken more by our defense of Israel, not just defending Israel, but lying to protect them over and over and over and over again, something Biden did very willingly, than anything that's happened here in Venezuela. So again, like I'm not arguing Democrats and Republicans are literally the same. I'm saying that this is a strategic weakness that people need to recognize. How are the Democrats ever going to win or change, or how is anything going to improve if we can't acknowledge this? You know? You've never been more wrong. You know Kamala would not have invaded Venezuela. See, this is what I mean. When being upset with me doesn't free you of the responsibility to listen to me. I said with my own mouth, Kamala probably would not have done the extradition of Maduro from Venezuela. I said that. This is what Kamala Harris said. Trump's actions in Venezuela do not make America safer, stronger, or more affordable. True. That Maduro is a brutal, illegitimate dictator does not change the fact that this action was both unlawful and unwise. We've seen this movie before. Wars for regime change or oil that are sold as strength but turn into chaos, and Americans' family pay the price. The American people do not want this. They're tired of being lied to. This is not about drugs or democracy. It's about oil and Donald Trump's desire to play regional strongman. If he cared about either, he wouldn't pardon a convicted drug trafficker or sideline Venezuela's legitimate opposition. Or sideline Venezuela's legitimate opposition while pursuing deals with Maduro's cronies. He's putting troops at risk, spending billions, destabilizing region often, no legal authority, no exit plan, and no benefit at home. So yeah, it just makes me wonder what her priorities are, I guess. And it's also it's the goose around the neck a little bit. Like, how much can you trust a person's anti-imperial intentions when they're a Zionist, right? Kind of based. Not really, I guess. I don't know. It's easy to be against this when Trump's the one doing it, is all I'll say. Albatross, goose, whatever. Yeah. Who cares what Kamala thinks? She'll be running in 2028, and she currently has one of the highest favorability ratings in the Democratic electorate, which is very grim, but it's also true. So, you know, you all understand my point here, right? Hasan is the hook, but like, if you guys are wondering and you're infuriated by how Trump keeps getting away with this, how the keys keep jangling and people fall for it or whatever, just keep in mind, like, Democrats drop the ball politically on this over and over and over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. I still cannot believe that the opening statement from Hakeem Jeffries was, well, we support the regime change, but you should have told Congress first. Like, it's just kind of weird that Hasan was defending, that Vosh was defending Hasan yet again. Have I mentioned Hasan in months? You people talk about Hasan the way some people talk about me, okay? Just because it's not directed towards me doesn't mean I don't find that kind of drama hysteria any less, odious, all right? It's like, it's weird even if it's directed away from me. The Dems have been a disappointment since year one of Israel-Palestine, no doubt, but you're acting like the Dems' rhetoric equates somehow to Trump's erratic actions. No, I'm saying, like, this is the reason why people did not perceive the Democrats as being sincerely better on foreign policy than Republicans. Which, I mean, the Democrats are not doing themselves big favors there. Also, it would definitely help my argument if there weren't a lot of Democrats saying that they basically support the regime change, right? Like, it's not exactly like a rare opinion, right? Democrats were just as willing to play into the whole Maduro is the big bad, big enemy of Latin America, big evil bullshit as Republicans, you know? Like, the opposition to Venezuela, and Maduro specifically, is a holdover from neo-lib/neocon foreign opposition bullshit that predates Trump, right? It's not like Maduro and Venezuela only were a problem after Trump. Like, this is something that goes back before that, before the modern dynamic. The only caveat is the voters who didn't vote Dem in 2024 centrist minutes who cared at least about these issues in part. Well, Masaigo, I don't think it's that a bunch of independents voted for Trump because they thought he was the peace ticket. I think that a lot of Democrats didn't turn out for Kamala Harris because they thought that she was worthless, which it's true, she was. I think you still should have voted for her. I did. But she is and was worthless. She remains worthless. Also, some of them probably assumed she would win. You got to give people a reason to turn up, you know? Like, people have to be excited. But you still want people to vote for Dems, right? Well, I wanted people to vote for Kamala Harris in 2024, but right now my position on 2028 is pretty up in the air. I'm pretty mad. I feel like it would be irresponsible to do vote blue no matter who shit 3 years before the presidential election, when right now the Democrats legitimately do not deserve to win. Like, Trump is currently pile driving America into a pit, and that is what this country deserves, unless literally any effort is put into making things better. And if we preemptively concede on the issue, like we're preemptively like, nah, we'll just accept any mediocrity from the Democrats, we'll accept Gavin Newsom, we'll accept Kamala Harris, then I don't know, we're kind of like, we're pitching our own tent, right? Like, the bar is very low here. I am not saying we need like a Mamdani-esque character to run for president for the Democrats. Ro Khanna currently is the person I'm most excited about. We'll see. Again, 3 years out. We're 3 years out from the presidential, insanely, like, somehow. So I'm not, we'll see how it goes. We have a lot of time. Easy to say when you're wealthy enough to ignore most of the issues that would cause. Yeah, that's true. I'm totally disconnected from the consequences of Trump running the nation. That's true. Yeah, my ambivalence on this is definitely motivated by a self-interest and not by like the belief that you are preemptively accepting mediocrity, which worsens your chances in the future, by the way. If you listen, Trump won because the Democrats are bad. Don't you want the Democrats to be good so that they don't lose again? Wouldn't that be good? Like, I don't want it to stay like this, man. Wouldn't it be good? Like, they need to improve. The liberals who are like, by criticizing anyone at any point, even in a primary, even before the primary, even 3 years before the primary, you're actually giving ammunition to Republicans. By doing that, you know what you're doing is squelching your voice to ensure that the loudest voice that contributes to the Dem discourse are the consultants who guaranteed that Kamala lost in 2024, right? Like, you're preemptively giving power to the people who are making this country worse and neutering the Democrats in their effort to improve things. So yeah, I don't know. Things need to improve. Dem bashing is back. We've been dem bashing for years.